Hope you've got a big bag.
On this episode...
So he's moved since this morning.
Yes, he's moved.
You do have to have a strategy. People have died through confusing a broad-headed snake for a diamond python.
So let's go. You've got to be brave.
A very serious risk is the fact that this snake could actually swim out to the pool. Oh, jeez. He's a big one. Come on, buddy. I'm not going to hurt you, mate. I know you're freaking out. Don't go over there. Jeez, he's fast too.
But first...
If it gets too far, they can actually go into seizures. She really is displaying the classical signs of a snail bait poisoning. So the green there does worry me. We're running a bit of a race at the moment between how much she absorbs and how much we can counter that absorption with an antidote. She just doesn't seem to be responding to that, and that's probably a result of the poisoning itself.
Hey guys, worst case scenario is that Xena absorbs too much toxin for her body to handle. She gets brain injury and she can die.
I left this morning on my way to work at about 6:30 and got home tonight at about 7:30. And normally she's at the back door chomping at the bit to get inside, and I found it a bit odd that she wasn't there. So I went around the back and I found her doing this, and she tried to stand up and she just couldn't weight bear on her back legs, and yeah, that's when I called the owner and eventually got to see you guys. So
she really is displaying the classical signs of a snail bait poisoning, and you do have to act pretty quickly on these guys because you can see their system just goes into overload. And if it gets too far, they can actually go into seizures. And when that happens, it's very bad news. So we've just got to act quickly. Okay, what I'm going to do first of all is give her some of this antidote. I just want to get some of this into a system. The idea being that let's try and reverse as much of this as we can instantaneously and try and avoid progressing any further. The next thing I'm going to do is actually make her vomit. I want to get that stuff out of her stomach so she stops absorbing it, but I'm just trying to prevent her going into a seizure right now. Okay, alright, that's enough of that. This is what looks quite bizarre, but essentially it's a tablet that we're going to inject. So, just get one of these out. And we put the tablet in there. So once I give this, I'm actually going to take the muzzle off because I don't really want to have any trouble voiding this stuff. Once this kicks in, she'll want to vomit. Now, that should be enough. Get this off. Just going through those classical signs, you know, when you start the pre-vomit spits and feeling awkward. Yeah. The purpose of the vomiting is just to remove as much of that material in her stomach as possible. We're running a bit of a race at the moment between how much she absorbs and how much we can counter that absorption with an antidote. So by removing as much from that stomach as we can, we start to win the race, and that's the most important thing. Here we go. So the green there does worry me. There aren't many things around that dogs eat that are green.
yeah.
You know, dogs don't eat vegetables, or very rarely. Now, the thing about snail baits is they're green.
Yeah.
If she's taken on board that, then you know she's taken on board quite a bit. Well, I think she has settled just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just her panting stopped. She does seem a little bit more relaxed. I actually wanted to vomit more. There's just not enough yet. There's bound to be more in there. You become a bit of a sadist in this situation because the more vomit, the better. And she just hasn't produced quite enough yet. Just writing down all the drugs that we're using here because this is going to be a long process, and you just got to keep track of how much you've given her, just so she doesn't have too much of any one particular drug.
It's a little bit funny that the guy who owns the dog is a cop, and so is a housemate, and so are all these guys here.
If this dog's been poisoned, the person that poisoned it doesn't know what he's messing with,
He's
does
in a
he?
bit of trouble.
He just doesn't seem to be responding to that, and that's probably a result of the poisoning itself. What I'm actually going to do here looks a little bit strange, but it works. Just bear with me. This is actually going to go under her eyelid.
there's a great blood supply to the eye, and that gets absorbed pretty quickly. It's a bit of an irritant though, so she won't like this, and it's just an unfortunate fact. It is going to help her, but we just need to find another way to get this drug into her system. You'll see her eye will go bright red in a second. So it's now a milky sort of consistency, but it will start to get absorbed pretty soon. In the meantime, I'm going to actually start giving her some more of that antidote. As you can appreciate, she's got a lot of drugs swimming around the system right now, so we're going to see some strange reactions from her and her system, I guess, trying to cope with uppers, downers, all sorts of things going on. What I'm going to do is actually give her a muscle relaxant, so it's essentially a Valium derivative, just to try and settle down that twitching, and it's all about just trying to reduce that risk of her going into convulsions. If we don't get a great response from this Valium, then I'd be tempted to transfer her over to an emergency centre. The simple fact that we need someone to monitor the anaesthetic. We need a lot of nurses, a lot of staff on hand, because if she doesn't respond, she's going to need around-the-clock attention and around-the-clock monitoring. Now we can do the best we can here, but we need something more substantial than that. Okay. So the Valium's in the system now. It is going to sedate her a little bit. Yeah, Paul? Yeah, mate. Hey, mate. Basically, she's not responding to the treatment we're giving her. Now, what I'm suspicious of is the fact that she's got a defender poisoning. So it's basically a snail bait, but it has no antidote, no specific antidote. We're giving her supportive care at the moment. We're giving her some Valium to try and reduce the risk of her seizuring, and also pumping some fluids into her. But right now, her biggest risk is absorbing more of that poison, and then going into convulsions. So what I'm proposing is that we take her over to the emergency centre for the simple fact she's going to probably need to be anaesthetised and also monitored throughout the night. The problem we've got is she's taken on a lot of this poison. Not only is she vomiting in it, but also it's coming out in a diarrhoea, so it's through the whole system. Okay, so it is very serious. We'll get her to North Ryde right now. And basically we'll just keep in touch during the night and see how she goes. Yeah, we'll do that in here. She's warm enough, right? That's all right. Hey guys, how you going? We've got Xena that we've called ahead for. Worst case scenario is that Xena absorbs too much toxin for her body to handle. It stimulates her nervous system so much that it goes into convulsions, her temperature goes through the roof, she gets brain injury, and she can die. It just must be one of the most distressing things for a dog to go to. They've got uncontrollable muscle tremors, they feel their temperature rising, they feel themselves getting hot, they can't control that, they're almost boiling, yet they don't know why. Hi. How you going, Lisa?
Good.
She came in about an hour and a half ago, and she was tremoring and basically in a fair bit of distress. There was a suspicion that she might have been poisoned. She's been poisoned before, made a vomit with some apomorphine, she passed a lot of green material, so suspecting obviously a metaldehyde poisoning. So any poisoning, especially when it's metaldehyde, which is in snail bait, is potentially lethal. The problem we have is there's no antidote. My initial hope was that it was one of the poisons that actually has an antidote, but unfortunately the moment we see that green vomit and that green diarrhoea, it confirms the fact it's metaldehyde, and it's tricky and you can lose them. Just passing that down now.
So basically, it's the same as a stomach pump. We're trying to fill up the stomach with warm water and then basically empty it out. So trying to physically remove all of the toxin from her stomach so we don't see any more being absorbed. And I guess the quicker we get this out, the chance of her recovering is much better.
Yeah.
it's totally
water's
clear
pretty
now.
clear.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would have expected a lot more, but in the clinic she had a very good vomit. Maybe she was very effective in actually removing a lot of that bait at that particular time, which is good. I mean, what we want is her to get that bait out as quickly as possible. So she's been put under anaesthetic just so she can avoid going into convulsions, but also to give us the opportunity to stomach tube her and also give her an enema. And now the plan is just to wake her up, let her come around, and let's just assess where she's at right now. During this time, she's metabolising some of that toxin, and also we're flushing some of it out through what we've been doing, and also plus we've got the drip running as well. She's got a few things going on. She's got an increased temperature, the acidosis, plus we're trying to fight her absorbing any more toxin.
I feel a lot better when she can lift her head up and is responding to at least our voice or touch or things that she can see. But at this stage, she's still pretty much asleep.
I was called out around 8:15. It's now nearly midnight. So we've been going for over 3 hours now. And Xena's, I guess you could say, in a holding pattern. We've managed to limit some of those serious signs, which were the muscle tremoring and the potential for seizures. And now Xena's calm and she's stable, and that's the most important thing. Paul, Chris, mate. Hey, Chris, how are you? Good. Mate, you've made a bit of a mercy dash up the front.
Yeah, from Newcastle, yeah.
So, obviously, we spoke before to give you the story, but look, she's pretty stable at the moment. What we're trying to do is limit any seizures, so when she starts to wake up and starts to become a bit light and starts to tremor and get a bit stiff in her legs, we just give her an increased dose of medication, and that tends to calm her down. So, look, she's in a good place at the moment because her temperature's gone down to the normal range. Just trying to get as much of that toxin out of the system as possible, and hopefully she's got enough strength to push on and be okay in the morning. If she pulls through, she's been very lucky. The biggest worry is probably the fact it pushes the temperature up. So it can push a temperature up to 40.5, 41, even 42 degrees. If it goes above 41, then you've got serious risk of brain damage. The highest temperature we got on her was around 40.7, so it was nudging up there. But it doesn't look as though it got to a dangerous level. But we can't be sure in between taking those temperature readings whether it got to a dangerous level. The thing I'm most mindful of at the moment is the potential for brain damage, and in the morning we'll get a good impression of whether that's actually occurred. If it hasn't occurred, it's good news. If it has, then the future is a bit shaky. Hey Lisa. Oh, look at you.
Yeah, look at her.
How well are you going? How's she going?
She's done pretty well. Yeah, she's been pretty stable overnight. When Justin came in this morning, she was already awake and standing up, and the twitching had stopped early this morning.
It's a dramatic change, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. She's had no more vomiting, but she's been passing quite a bit of soft green coloured poo, so there's obviously still some in her system. But her lungs sound clear, so we haven't done any x-rays at this stage. She's had an antibiotic shot just to cover that, and I'm sending her home on some clav as well. And yeah, I'm pretty happy for her to go home.
It's amazing.
Yeah, she's done fantastically.
Well done, girl. Well done.
Yeah, good girl.
Morning, guys.
How you going, mate?
Good to see you.
mate.
Hi.
How are you going?
Mate, it's a long night.
Yeah, we've been looking after Xena all night, and she's been recovering very well.
I know one of Paul's concerns, and certainly one of ours as well, was the potential for brain damage.
Yeah, certainly, and with seizuring and very elevated temperature, there is a potential for that. But luckily, her seizures were controlled very quickly with the drugs she was given last night.
Yeah.
So I think he won't notice any difference in her personality or anything like that. She'll be back to normal.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, how are you, Lisa?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
You must be
Better.
happy.
A lot better.
Yeah, come see her. You'll be over the moon.
Mate, look at this, huh?
Who's that?
Mate, good news for you.
What?
Is she okay then?
Yeah, you might have to grab onto the leeches so she doesn't go wandering around.
Bit of a change from last night, huh?
Oh, yeah, look at you wagging your
That tail's
tail.
going. So she'll still be quite groggy
she's a
today
bit.
and even probably into tomorrow. Just those drugs take a while to wear off. X-rays would be the next step if you're up for that, but at the moment we've just started her on some antibiotics. So she's had an injection today and she's going home on a course of antibiotics for 10 days.
And she looks so normal now.
Yeah. She's just been so lucky.
She's been so lucky, but
So
no,
lucky.
you guys you've done excellent. You've done well. Like if it wasn't with, if you didn't do what you did last night, with the help of,
Your friends
and my
got
friends
onto it
as well.
so early.
So, mate, after all that, she's ready to go home.
Yep, absolutely. Look, she wants to go home.
We'll see you later, miss.
Off you go.
Come on.
You don't want to stay here.
They're your fluids. See you later.
Go home and have a proper meal.
Talk about being back to normal. Look at her go.
Okay.
Okay, mate.
See you, mate.
See you later. Every now and then you get these house calls which, you've got to take them, but sometimes you don't really want to believe them. Apparently, there's a snake trapped in a swimming pool, but we don't know what sort of snake. All we know is the snake's about 6 foot long, give or take a couple of feet, and it's been there overnight. So, first step here is identification. That could be pretty important. How you going?
Hi, Chris.
Must be Pam.
It is Pam. Thank you so much for coming. I'd
That's
really
all right.
like you to have a look and see if that snake is still there.
I've got to say, I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. I'll just grab my gear here.
Hope you've got a big bag.
Yeah, don't worry. That was
I
priority
think it might
number
be a
one.
big snake. I'm not sure.
So when did you first notice it there?
Well, I had my 2 granddaughters in the pool yesterday, and just as we were about to leave, Sophia looked over and just near the skimmer box there, she said, "Nana, what's that thing?" And I looked over and I thought, "Oh, that looks like a frog." Then I looked closer and I thought, no, it's a snake's head. And then I saw the rest of the body. So I said to Sophia, "Come on, we're getting out of here." Because when I opened that box this morning, I saw him in the actual skimmer box.
So he's moved since this morning.
Yes, he's moved.
We're assuming he's still alive.
Absolutely, must be.
Now the thing is about water, it magnifies the size. So I'm hoping he's about a foot long,
Oh, you're hoping he's a
and
foot
about
long?
a centimetre wide. But I don't think it magnifies it that much.
Why would he come in the water?
First of all, it's quite hot, so he could be quite dehydrated, and it's been a pretty dry summer. The other thing is that he could be trying to shed his skin.
Right.
The other possibility is he could actually have some skin mites or some sort of skin infections which he's trying to get rid of through
Right.
bathing.
Okay.
So that's all possibilities as
Could
well.
he get himself out of there if he wanted to?
You'd think he would be able to, but he's a pretty big snake, and to push himself up, he does need some point of leverage. So once he can get his head up onto the side, the rest of his body is still weighing him down in the water.
Yeah.
I guess my big worry with him being in this water overnight is the fact that he could quite easily have taken a lot of water into his lungs. So,
Have pneumonia.
yeah. Now the thing about snakes is they don't have a diaphragm, so if he was to inhale water, he can't get it out, so it just sits in there and pools
Oh,
and causes an
really?
infection, very quickly too.
So with your pole there, you want to try and get him under his head, don't
I
you?
want to actually get him from behind his head, about that far behind his head, lift him up,
Yes.
and then isolate his head and then grab hold of him with my other hand,
You're game to do
put
that?
him into the bag.
Oh, goody. Well, can we see this?
We can see
Action.
it. Don't rush me, Pam. This is-
I know, you're taking it from every point here, I can see.
You do have to have a strategy, because I guess you have to remember too that he could very well be sick. If he wasn't sick before, then being in the pool overnight
So it could be a bit aggressive.
It's possible. If it looks like I'm really taking my time here, I am, and there's a very good reason for that. I'm still not convinced as to what sort of snake we're dealing with here. There are two main possibilities. First of all, a diamond python, which is what I'm hoping for. They tend to be a little bit bigger, they have the diamonds on the side, they're placid unless they're pushed, then they can bite. The second possibility is a broad-headed snake. They're venomous. They look very similar, they're a little bit shorter, but people have died through confusing a broad-headed snake for a diamond python. I don't really want to be one of them. We're going to grab it here, and then I'll move my hand in there. I'm going to get control of the snake's head there. Okay, and then you can use that bag as protection if you like. It'll go in there, and then away.
Right.
And then we close the bag. All right.
Okay.
Okay, but it might move a little bit more than that.
Let's go. You've got to be brave.
Right. Just going on the sides of him, he's just too big to be a broad-headed snake, and also he doesn't have the characteristic markings. He's got the little diamonds on him and quite a wide belly. I'd love to see his head just to get a confirmation on that. He's got a few little spots where it looks like he's shedding his skin there. We'll just use this to block that away there. So he's going to try and edge out here. I just don't see that we're going to be able to get him out of the skimmer box with that flap there, preventing him from getting back in. I think we're going to have to do it the way I didn't really want to do it, and that's through the front. The worry for me is an obvious one. I can very easily lose control of him going out through this way. He's got all this pool here to escape to, and I've got this hook to prevent it, so it's not ideal. We might see if we can actually poke him from this direction. So I'll just gently do that now. A very serious risk is the fact this snake could actually swim out into the pool and try to get away from me trying to come in from the top. So maybe someone needs to get in the water. Pam? Well, I guess this is the moment of truth.
Good luck.
Oh, jeez. He's a big one.
Oh, Chris, what am I doing?
No, you're right. He's a big snake. Broad-headed snakes will only get up to about 90 centimetres. Now, I can already see at least that. And there's quite a wide girth there too, plus a long tail. Going on the markings and the length, he's got to be a diamond python.
I can see his head. Isn't it head to the right there, Chrissy?
That's right. That's fine. That's fine. We're going to find one of two things here. Either he's sick and he's going to be very lethargic and very easy to handle and put in that bag. Or secondly, if he's shedding his skin in there, he's going to go off like a firecracker. Just going to manipulate him until I can find his head here.
Oh, there he is. Quick, can you grab him by the neck?
I just can't believe how big he is. He's got to be almost 3 metres long. Stay still, come on. But he's just slippery. That's the biggest problem I've got. He just keeps on moving.
You need me?
No, it's all right. I can see why he's in there. He's shedding his skin, which you can see he's coming off now. Jeez, he's fast too. Doesn't look too sick. Don't go over there, don't go over there. Come on, buddy. Just got to get a good hold of him, but skin just keeps on sliding off. Come on, buddy. I'm not going to hurt you, mate. I know you're freaking out. You just stay there, mate. We both want the same thing here, all right? We both want to get out of this pool. Oh, no, don't do...
Oh, Chris, you had him.
He's just very slippery and it's going to be quite distressed. But I just can't get a grip of him. This bag won't stay open.
Okay.
I'll just hold his head there. He's not going to go anywhere.
Chris.
Well done, Pam.
Oh. Was that what you call a team effort?
That was a team effort. That was very well done.
Oh my goodness,
The
he
tricky
was
thing there is that,
slippery, wasn't he?
well, normally a snake in a snake hook like that, it grips it, but he's wet. The problem is there was no good grip, and he kept on wanting to go back into the water there, so we're a little bit stuck.
Oh, that was very hair-raising there for a minute.
That was exhausting for me, let alone him. He's so much bigger than I ever thought looking at that skimmer box. He was fast, he was fit, and he was feisty. I'm just glad we got him in the bag in the end.
I didn't think I'd ever get that close to a snake.
He did very well. He was a whopper.
He was a good one, wasn't he?
When he stretched out there, he was almost as fast as you were in the pool before.
I thought it was just going to be an easy in and out and in the bag, and it obviously wasn't as easy as that. No, I'm amazed at my bravery.
You were very good, actually. I didn't think we'd have to go to the point where you had to hold the bag.
No, I did.
You did it very well.
I did it.
While a diamond python isn't a venomous snake, the thing about them is they've got quite a big bite on them, plus they're constrictors as well. Now, with Pam's grandkids around, it's not the ideal situation. But I guess the heartening thing for me amongst all of that was the fact that we actually got a diagnosis while he was swimming around, and it's this. And you can see
Oh goodness, look at that.
big piece of snake skin there. The reason he's in your pool is because he's trying to soften up his skin
Right.
to lose it. So
Okay.
he's shedding his skin. That to me says that he's actually quite lively, doing incredibly well around here to actually get enough food that he's growing quickly. He's outgrown his skin.
So how many days would he have stayed here? Would he wait till his skin all came off before he left, or?
It's sort
If
of
we
instinct. When they feel as though it's time to go, they'll seek out water or a moist, humid area. Now, an hour or two would normally be enough, but obviously he's managed to get himself stuck in here, and that's been the problem. Seeing that skin loosen, seeing how energetic he was, how lively he was, this is a healthy snake. There's no need to do any more testing, put him through any more stress. He's been through enough. He can be released. All right, Pam, so we're going to hit the road.
Okay, Chris. Thanks so much for coming. I didn't know that it was going to be quite such a drama.
No, thank you. That was the most excitement I think I've had in years, don't worry. We need to release him in some bushland that's close to here, but I guess not so close that he's tempted to come back. So me and my little friend here are going to go for a drive. Did you want a little kiss before?
Oh, I'd love it. No, I'd rather have a kiss of you, Chrissy.
You're good.
Not the
You're very
snake.
good.
You can take the snake away. Mate, find it a good home.
I will, don't worry. This looks like the spot. Driving okay? All right. Sorry, trying to say hello. So, mate, no more annoying Pam and the grandkids, okay? It was nice of you to drop by, but just sometimes visitors just aren't welcome in certain situations, all right? You've got to know that. Now, mate, this isn't quite as beautiful as Pam's backyard, but I reckon this is your new home. What do you reckon? The good thing about this spot is it's nice and sheltered. Snakes like this, even though they're quite big, don't like to be in open spaces, so he can immediately go towards the undergrowth here, find a nice tree to conceal himself around, and he's going to be happy. I guess the one thing he really lacked in that pool, whilst he had the water which was softening up his skin, letting it fall off, he didn't really have an abrasive surface to finish the job. Here though, look at all that, it'll come straight off. You can see it's pretty close here now. It's the first really good look I've had to really assess just how big he is and how impressive he is. Oh, hello. Can we talk about this? Get a bit of a go at my arm here too. So I think he's trying to tell me it's probably time. I'll send him off in this direction and hopefully just really finishing the job that he was trying to start in the pool. Getting rid of the skin here. Comes away pretty easily. Yeah, he's pretty strong. He's not strong enough to crush, but he's certainly strong enough that you feel it. Okay. Just doesn't want to say goodbye. Feeling's not mutual. So what's amazing here is that he's just gone a few metres there and the skin's just sliding off. So the pool did the trick. All he needed was that extra bit of abrasion to finish it. He'd be happy on a couple of counts. First of all, he's out of the water. He's away from a very captive situation. But secondly, he's got rid of that skin. He's a new man.
If you guys loved that video, great. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below. That way.